So we've looked at how to put images into backgrounds in CSS and how to put them in content in HTML in ways that they're in multiple places, whether the thumbnail or the pop-up modal. But what if we want a photo in a place that doesn't already have a photo? So when we're designing different sections here, there's a lot of alternating content on a website like this to make sure you're not just doing text. Sometimes those alternations happen with a background color change, but sometimes you want to just put an image into a block. So this is our next challenge. We're going to create a block to host an image that doesn't exist yet. And I think I want an image of more nuts in between these two blocks. And I'm probably going to change the content of these, but let's just say that that's what we're going to do. So let's figure out the name of this. So this is the section called team. So here we have the section, and the HTML for this has some classes already. So section class, page section, BG light, ID team, and it has a container, and it doesn't have an image in it. We don't have one of these that has an image. The only thing that has an image, as an example, is the section is our header up here. So that one, the masthead header, let's go ahead and open that up. So there's the masthead, there's a container, and the attachment of the image happens as in the class for masthead. So here's at the parent. Let's see what we can figure out. So we have class, masthead for the header. Header is, you can see kind of here if we look down. So here's the header, that tag, and then a section. So it's kind of used at the same level as a section. So if we create a new section, then have a class or an ID to talk to it, we should be able to attach an image in the same way that the masthead is attaching an image. And let's see our style to see if we have a masthead style. We do, and that's right here. So we're going to use that masthead as a example, but we need to put the block in our HTML first. So let's find that team area. Here's the team member. Here it is, the team. And there's a section. Okay. So I'm going to do a new section tag. So I'm kind of copying what I see just like right underneath it here. Okay, same kind of idea. Class equals, and I'm just going to call this an image section instead of a page section. And I'm also going to give it an ID name, and I'm going to call this team top. Okay, so that becomes an opening tag, which means I need a closing tag for that. And there's nothing in there now, which is fine for now. So the header image thing used the header, the class. Let's go back to it. So we need to remember names here. We call this, it's an image section, class, and team top ID. So here we have a header that has the class of masthead. So I'm going to copy this, and ours will be a section tag instead of a header tag, and the class will be image section. Is that what I called it? This is why it's good to write image dash section. Good to write things down. Okay. So this is going to use the same kinds of things that made this happen, but with we're just making a copy, so it's going to be the same image. Let's see what happens with this. So my style is saved. Need to make sure to save the HTML as well. And let's refresh. And let's go down to that place where we added it in. See if we're lucky, we'll see something there. There we go. There's the nuts. So that looks like it worked. That gave us a quick and easy way to put in an image as a full width thing. And if we shrink this screen down, it's going to do all the responsive things we want. That's great. Okay, we can borrow, well, let's go ahead and change the image. So the image I want to put in here now is going to be bowl of nuts. It's pretty big, it should work. Bowl with underscores, bowl of nuts. Okay, this would be in the styles. Bowl underscore of underscore nuts. There it is. Okay. So the nice thing about the styles as they are already waiting for images to go in is that they will cover the area and they'll inflate or shrink whatever they need to do that. So it's kind of hard to show you here. As I shrink it, it kind of changes proportions. So we're seeing more of the image, the square it gets. Okay, and then it starts cropping off the sides. So the reason it's doing some of those things, let's look more closely at why it does that. So we have our repeat, we're not repeating it. It's going to scroll with the page. We're centering it both horizontally and vertically with the image and the box, and we're telling it to do cover. So if we change this to something like contain, then we're going to have empty space on the sides of it, but we'd see the whole image top to bottom. So we'll leave that at cover. That's just what that does. And if we really wanted to see the bottom of the image, the first one is left and right, next one is top and bottom. So we could say, okay, we really want to see the bottom of the image, or oops, lost it. I don't know if it's going to let me. Let's refresh. Or I could say I really want to see the top of the image. So that would bias how it scales to the top. So usually center is best, but sometimes you have an image where you want to absolutely see the top or the bottom or the left side or the right side or whatever. So this, the same way we can make sure we see the left of it or make sure we see the right of the image as the default. And here I'm already kind of boxed in there. So here I'm seeing the top when it goes skinny instead of the center. See if I can do this again without it messing up. Yeah, there we go, bottom. Okay, so that's fairly simple. What if we wanted text on top of it? Could we copy that from this top idea as well? I think we can. So let's see how it's put in there. So that particular element there, if we look in the HTML, we have a division. So here's the header, masthead. There's a container class, and then the masthead heading text, and it's typed in there. So let's see if we can copy that. We'll want a container, and inside of that we'll want a masthead heading, or maybe it's just text uppercase. We don't know. It might be both that we want to get. So we need to change the HTML first. I'm going to go up to the header, masthead, container. I can copy the whole container, even though it has a subheading and a button in there as well. And I'll go down to my new section that I did. Here it is, image section team top. And I tab that over to make sure I'm keeping the standard so I know what's going on here. And I could also follow the pattern of putting comments before things so I know what they are. Image above the team. So I'm just going to leave this exactly how it is and see if it comes in at all. So save the HTML and refresh. So ideally it would take everything we have here on top of this image and put it on top of the image down there. Okay, it kind of worked, kind of didn't. So what's missing? So when we had done the styling on this one up here, it is doing its thing, kind of a long line. So header masthead, masthead heading. But we want our section class whatever to do that thing as well. So let's look at what is that called? So header dot masthead, ours would be section dot image section. So here's the header masthead. Here we go, header masthead, masthead heading. So if we add to that, it would be section dot image section space dot masthead dash heading. So as long as I got the name of the parent tag and its child class, then this should apply if I got that right. There we go, that worked. This is that not working? The same? No, it's not. So similar problem with that. This one was assigned to the header masthead, masthead subheading. So we could copy again the comma and this down to here. And the only difference here is it's called a subheading. And that should allow us to change this one to our larger thing. Okay, so that's good to know that we can copy things. It's just making a new section, making the new thing. You have to watch the names that you have and stuff. So of course, now that we have it in place, we can change the HTML to change what it says. We can get rid of the button, but that's an important thing to know how to do, to be able to add a new section further down based on the way that the one up above worked.